Hi, did you ever stop to wonder about inner child and ego gratifications as opposed to higher self fulfillment? Let's talk about that. Hi, I'm Paola Ranova, founder of Ranova Enterprises and creator of the Cardinal method of life connection. And today we're going to talk about three different types of pleasure, which are inner child gratification, ego gratification, and higher self fulfillment. So, if you're familiar with this work that we develop here at Ranova and with the Cardinal method, the inner child and the ego are aspects of our psyches that are binary. They are dualistic. They have we have a healthy inner child and a healthy ego, and a wounded aspect of the inner child and a destructive aspect of the ego. So a destructive inner child and a wounded or destructive ego can really cause problems in our lives. There are places in our psyches that create unpleasant experiences, right? Because since we create our reality, thoughts create the manifested reality. Which aspect of the psyche is predominant in your inner world, and that is creating whatever experience you're going through. If it's the wounded inner child creating that experience, you're going through painful experiences. If it's the controlling ego or the wounded, destructive ego, it's also not pleasant. When your higher self is creating the experience, then you are in your sacred path, then you are in joy, you are in the essence of life connection, living all the good and vibrations and all the good energy and all the good vibes. But how can you tell when it comes to pleasure? Because it's easy. When you're going through turmoil, either the inner child or the ego is creating a bad experience for you. However, when it comes to pleasure, how do you discern if it's an inner child creation and if it's a pleasure that is aligned with the healthy inner child or the wounded inner child or the healthy ego or the wounded ego, or if it's coming from the higher self? First thing, the higher self creates a stream of life connection and beautiful energy and peace and joy and good for all those involved in a situation, that it aligns the healthy inner child, the healthy ego with the higher self. So it's a one-way stream. It's your sacred path. It's a beautiful connection. So the healthy inner child, the healthy ego, and the higher self are always aligned. When it comes to the wounded inner child creating pleasure, it tends to be instant gratification at the cost of something that will have some sort of consequence in the long run for you. So overeating, overspending, not calculating the consequences of things if you don't have enough, say, money to buy whatever it is you want to buy, and it's going to create problems for you. That's your inner child in charge of your finances, just to give a quick example. Overeating, indulging in unhealthy snacks or unhealthy meals will eventually lead to health issues. So that's, again, your inner child's wounded inner child pleasure to fill a void, right? To fill an emotional void of the child's wound. And it's temporary pleasure that creates long-term non-ideal consequences for you, your body or your finances. It may hurt you in some level or way. The ego instant gratification or problem is, it regards self-image and it regards control at the expense of your heart. So it's intense because you may be in a relationship for ego trip reasons. You're with someone who has status, but you don't love the person. That's a typical destructive ego relationship. You may be too controlling in your job, and that is causing you to become stressed out and working 50 to 60 hours a week. If you're doing this, you're depleting yourself, and it's an ego trip. It's a destructive, controlling ego creation. So these are just a few examples for you. You have the blueprint, so now you know what the inner child and the ego and the higher self are and how binary the inner child and the ego are. And then you can discern, make a list, what am I doing? What are my habits, and how can I make this better, and how can I stop indulging the instant gratifications of the inner child and the structural gratifications of the ego that have the consequence that, exist at the expense of physical health or emotional health. Okay? The inner child tends to destroy the physical health and the finances, and the ego tends to just destroy the well-being and the physical health in the long run, because people who overwork are in ego mode. And also the emotional, the truth of the heart is eroded by the controlling ego. All right, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for you guys, everybody who's in our community. If you haven't yet signed up to our YouTube channel, make sure that you do, so that you know exactly when we post new content for you. When you hit the notification button, it will tell you. And also our newsletter and our blog here, please comment and share your experience. And everything that we have for you on social media is always available, and I can't wait to see you there. Please follow us on social media as well. And I hope you have a wonderful day and week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.